Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the first ever Union Arena video on this channel. I know this is different from what I usually do, but these card games are something that I really like, and I want to add it to the channel. Don't know if I'm gonna keep doing the PlayStation stuff. That stuff is hard to make because it takes so long for my computer to run through everything. This will be much simpler. It's really just record and go, and then we should be good from there. And so Union Arena is the new game that I'm getting into. This is the first set that I'm getting into, mainly because it's Fullmetal Alchemist, and how can you skip on the Fullmetal Alchemist set? And this is one of the decks I found. This is not my original deck. This came from a YouTuber named DRJ Union, I believe. I don't know why it's not showing his name here. Let me, yeah, DJR Union is the YouTuber name. And if I remember, I can throw it up in the editing when I find it. I only made a couple changes, but let me break down how the rest of this video is going to go. I'm going to go over the deck list, sort of just walk through it lightly. And then I have 3 games that shows off the deck, my game plan for it, and if you want to try this deck, it's less than $30 right now, because yellow Fullmetal Alchemist is considered the weakest out of the decks, out of the Fullmetal Alchemist set right now. Although it's the weakest, I do think that it has a lot of potential, and I don't think I've made the perfect deck list for it yet, but I'll get into that later. So then it'll be this setup, 3 games, and then finally going over going over the deck list, talking about changes I want to make, and things like that. So for now, let's just jump into it. This zero cost, or for zero cost, we have the Edward Elric, the Mei Changs, and Ling Yao's, all at 4 ofs. Just to, make sure you got something to play. Always have your zero cost. Always keep it above, I believe you should always keep it above 12, especially in this deck, because I was breaking a lot, but that's why I think I can make a few more changes here. But this Edward and Ling's, or literally all 3 of these zero costs are raid targets. Edward, both these, we only have 2 raid targets for the Edward in here, but they raid out this Edward Elric, which when you raid it, you can search the top 6 cards and reveal 1 character or site. I'm not running any sites, so it's literally all characters that I'm looking for, and then place the rest at the bottom. You don't have to sideline one, but you do have to sideline the base card of this Elric, which means that it loses its raid ability, which I think is cool. I know I'm just getting into the game, but it's like it's equivalent exchange. That's what the whole series is. You can't get something without losing something in return. And so in order to do the search, you have to lose its raid effect, and its raid effect being impact 1, which also comes up later because it's very important. These Lings have just another 2 raid targets for Ling. Really, he can be raided on. It's cool, but I found it better to raid on this Ling if you can, especially if you get your energy set up early and you can play him out with his effect to draw a card. It's much better than raiding on this one, for the reason that his raid target is this greed. Now this greed is in this deck, it's one of your removal pieces, which I think is a cool trade around, due to the rest of how the rest of this deck works. With this Ling, if you have 7 or more energy, after attacking, you can choose another character, and they cannot be blocked by characters 4K or more. And if you know anything about Union Arena, you know the front line, that 4K is almost standard stat line for any raid targets. So its front line is usually you'll be able to swing under it to always hit life. That does it. And this Lanfan, which is also extremely important. If you have 6 or more energy, this character cannot be blocked with characters by 4k BP or more. She also has a secondary effect to gain 500 BP if you have 5 or more energy. So if you think about it, if their board is 4k, 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 and let's say 3500, this Lanfan will either force them to take a life or force them to lose that 3500 blocker or character. And then, like I said, for this greed, when you raid it on play, your opponent must block him if able to. And his base power is 4k, but his rated ability is he gains 1000 BP, so he's a 5k when you raid him. So the line being, maybe play this Traveler from Xing to remove something, and then play this greed and it'll also remove something. So you can have a 2-body removal in one turn, which is, it's really strong when it hits. Doesn't always hit though. You know, it's a card game. It's a little bit of luck in there. But that's mostly it for the greed. Oh, the reason why I would rather raid onto this 4-cost Ling than this 0-cost Ling is this greed effect. When it's sideline, you can sideline a card from your hand, and if you do, play 1 Ling with 4 cost and 1 AP to your field rested. So you can play this back out and draw a card if you have the energy. I kept forgetting, I'll tell y'all right now, I kept forgetting to draw a card when I replayed this Ling. Always remember to check your effects. I'm supposed to be drawing a card anytime this Ling is played out, even from my sideline, and I kept forgetting to do that. The Mei, this other 0-cost, Mei Chang, has also 2 targets, but only running 5 in this deck, unlike the 8s of these Lings and Eds. This is one of the things that I'm iffy on. I think I should go up a Mei Chang, but we'll talk about that later. The original deck list had 1 more Mei Chang and 1 less Edward, but I thought because I am losing on 2 of the other searchers, the Lanfan searches that the other deck was running, I will max out the Edward just to make sure that I get all the searches I need, because I don't think it needs that many searches. And I'll explain that later. But yeah, these Mei Changs, this one's good unrated. It's just a 2 energy generation, which, as you can tell, this deck really needs your energy, your very high energy. And then this raid Mei Chang is a 3 energy generation. Apparently there are other 3 energy generators, but they are not as good as this Mei Chang. When you play it, you draw a card, or if you raid it, you draw a card, and it gets 3 energy generation. And as you can see, everything is maxed out at 7. So if you get 2 of these on the board, all you need is 1 other card in the back line, and you're at 7. So it's a really good card. But I am only running 3 because I needed to make room for these actual swingers. You really don't need 2. 2 is fine. It's perfect if you make it, but you don't need 2 because this Edward generates 2 energy. This Old Man Food generates 2 energy. This one generates 2 energy. So it's very easy to get to your 7 energy. But yeah, that's the Mei Chang set. Let's talk about this Edward. This Edward's pretty good as well. Look at top 2, place any of them back to the top of your deck or place in the sideline. So it's also a pseudo search. You search the top 2, and you can decide on whether or not you need those cards or not. But it's also good for these because you cannot search these because these are events, not characters. Even if I was running the searcher Lanfan, it literally says Traveler from Xing, but it does not have the Xing affinity under the name. That's fine. I bottom deck these a lot in this deck, which kind of sucks, but this sort of helps out. If you look at the top two, and if it's in there, then leave it on the top. Maybe play a Mei Chang to draw or a Ling Yao to draw, and move from there. And then you can do the search after you have the card in hand, blah blah blah, find your character for the next turn, because that's probably be all your energy at that point. Yeah, it'll be 1, 2, and 3. That'll be all your energy. But it's also just good as a double energy generator. Same thing with this Fu, is a perfect double energy generator, and just leaving on your energy line until it's ready to be pushed up, because this also has the ability, if you have 7 more energy, it gains 1000 BP on your turn, so it becomes a 4K swinger. In the late game, it's really good to just leave this on your energy bench and then move it up later. Finally, the Scar. So this is my big change to the deck. DRJ Union was not running this, or DJR Union, I'm sorry, was not running the Scar. I think this Scar is it's good, but it's not. I don't think I was playing it always correct. And let me break it down. So you play it. It's cost 2 action points, which is expensive. But hopefully you'll have an equivalent exchangery stand, or this Edward to also gain impact. But you play this out, and you rest one of your enemy's characters, so they cannot block for the turn. Any character. And then if you have 7 or more energy, this gains 1000 BP and impact 1 until the end of turn. So it becomes a 5K with impact, and it rests a body. So remember the lineup I was saying where there was 4K, 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 and let's say 3500. If this is on the front line, I can play this, or this is sort of the closing game, or to close out the game. This is on the front line. Say they push up one of those chump blockers, so Lanfan can be blocked. This comes in, rests that chump blocker, because I don't really care if they attack with that next turn. And now it's only the 4K, or the 3 4Ks, and whatever else is on my front line outside of the Lanfan. The Lanfan will always go through. The Scar will normally always go through, because it is a 5K with impact, so even if they blocked it, it would win the battle, and they'll still have to take the damage. And then we'll hopefully have a Greed on the front line, or Edward. Edward can also be your last action point. Rated, it also gains impact, and then they have to take another hit there. Or the Greed, and then they'll end up losing a body. But yeah, it's really good when it works, but sometimes it just doesn't. At least that's how my mind thinks about playing it. Maybe I'm playing it wrong, but it seems extremely strong, especially in the late game, and that's what I try to save it for, is the late game. But yeah, that's the deck list, and let's jump straight into the games. Okay, I'm going to play it at 1.5 speed, see if I can keep up with it like that. If it's going too slow, I'm going to up it to 2 times speed. But we want a dice roll, and I think we choose second here. Second is normally always good to play. Let's look at the hand real quick. I'm sorry. So this is what I was talking about with bricking. Jesus, no 0 cost in this entire lineup, so I have to mulligan it here. And I do draw into 1 Mei Chang. Yeah, only 1 0 cost. Yeah, I'm scrolling over my hand because I bricked again. Essentially. What's this? Oh wait, I think this is okay. Yeah, he chose the wrong deck, but yeah, I reset the lobby here, and then he finds me, I believe. That's fine. It's fine, because I needed to show off how badly this deck can break sometimes. Okay, so yeah, he found his deck, and now he's playing me again. Good luck, have fun. Always be nice. Always be nice. Okay, yeah, he's playing a bleach deck, a green bleach deck. All right, this time I don't brick. I have 2-0 cost in my hand, so now I got my energy generated. And this is I didn't say the lines, but this is one of the lines. 2-0 cost to the front. Next turn I'm going to play the Lawn Fawn and then probably this Old Man Fu. And that's an extremely strong start for this deck. Because in the turn after I'll just move up the Lawn Fawn and I'll have 4 energy on the line for that Ling Yao I just drew. So there's no point in like AP drawing or anything, but play these to the energy line and we're set up for the game to start. Now, I'll try to do my best to explain the other side, but like I said, I'm also new to the game, so I don't know all the cards by heart. But he does move up one of his weenie guys to the front to attack early, which is fine because he gave me a Mei Chang. And you have 7 life in general in this game, so it's never a bad thing to take a couple early hits. I'm playing the Mei to the line just in case I get with the raid. And then what do I do here? I'll probably play out Ling to draw and then the Lawn Fawn. Okay, this is wrong. All right, so I should have played the Ling out. Oh no, I would not have drawn. I would not have drawn. That's why I'm not playing the Ling. Okay, yeah. I'm not at 6 energy. I have to be at 6 energy generation to draw. So I'm playing these out. I'm playing the Edward sort of as a weenie blocker. Hopefully I get a raid, and I gotta set up my BP bonuses because I'm at 5 energy. But hopefully I get a raid for this Edward, and I won't even have to move one up from the energy line. And if not, it serves as a good weenie blocker. Maybe that's wrong. Oh no. So that was wrong. That was wrong. All right. Play mistake. But it's fine. This Edward and this Edward are the same card. So what I should have done if I were planning to play this Edward is move this up in my movement phase, and then play this to the energy line, replacing it. But I would have had an extra attacker because this would have stayed active if I moved it up to the front line. But you know, it's not really what you can do about it now. These are recorded, or these are recorded postly. So just live and learn. All right, he raids here, and I believe this rests my character. I'm going to boost this to 2 times speed. Yeah, I believe this rests my character and freezes it. This is good. I get it. They hit me, and I get a greed, which is huge because I should be able. I don't think I'm able to raid it next turn. So I'll block here with the Lawn Fawn. The Lawn Fawn buff helps her survive. This stays frozen because of his raid effect. I believe I did an AP draw here. Yeah, I'm just making sure that it stays frozen in my attack phase. Yep, and so he confirms it for me. And so right here, I draw a card, and then I can play AP restand to get 2 AP back, and then I'm going to so this sideline event, I didn't explain it in the deck tech, but the sideline event goes based off how many Xing cards you have on the field. So this is the play I was talking about. Let me sort of let it go through. This is the play I was talking about. I had it was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Xing cards on the field, so I can remove any 5 or less on his board with that 1 card. So I removed his raid target, played out the greed, and now the greed will have to be force blocked, so he'll lose another card on board, and then I get a Lawn Fawn to swing. So that's the main game plan. Or not main game plan, that's the early game plan of this deck, is to keep our board full with aggression. Unfortunately, they get a sideline trigger, but they sideline the greed, and on sideline effect I can trash a card from hand and play out a rested Ling Yao And so I trash. Actually, this is another play you could do. Because I rated the zero cost Ling Yao, I didn't want to bring him back, so I decided to trash him from my hand and then play him out with the Greed's effect, and then it stood up at the end of turn. But like I said, 1 2 3 4 5 6 energy, forgot to draw. Just forgot to draw, and I do that so many times. But that's what we do these videos for, so we can watch things back and recognize the mistakes we made. I don't know what's taking long here. Oh, he's setting up his energy. So yeah, the sim sometimes doesn't let you do things if you don't have the proper energy set up. So he sidelines my card. Just rereading it, yeah, put it in the sideline. He sidelines another card, but that's all his energy for the turn. He can't attack in because I'll just block. And I just get to place the energy line, draw a card, and maybe that was a better card to play to the front line this turn, but I also didn't want it to be sidelined. Then again, I'm pretty sure that would have been 3. It's another play mistake here. I can't believe how many I made. But yeah, if I played the Edward first, yeah, I should have played the Edward first to the energy line. That would have generated me 2 energy, and I would have looked at the top 2, and been able to sideline 1 or leave them both at the top, and then played the Ling. I would have drew the card that I set to the top, and hopefully it would have been a play that I could actually use. So yeah, just making play mistakes left and right here, but this is why we watch our videos back. Right, attacking in, daring them to lose a card. I think that was an active trigger, but I had no other attacks, so we just go to the next turn. I'm actually forgetting to tell the sim that my Mei Chang is producing another energy here. I should have put that on the effect. Now I forget what this effect was. Oh right, so that effect was you can bring out this card, his raid card, from the trash. Okay, yeah, and then he said and backline now. So I thought that meant you rest it, freeze it, and put it to the backline. But that's not what I was supposed to do. So we're gonna replay this. So what he was saying is to rest all of my backline and freeze it, so that it doesn't move in the next turn. So another reason as to why I should have played the Ling Yao in the front line and the Edward in the back line, because I had no reason to like, I had no raid targets, or if I had a raid target, it would have went on the Edward, and then the Ling would have just been a 4K blocker, which is way better than a 3K blocker. So now he attacks for 4. I get an activate trigger, or a sideline trigger, which is huge. Yeah, I think I sidelined the other attacker just to keep my life healthy, instead of the Kenpachi or this guy. I actually stopped sidelining this guy because I didn't know that there was a card to just bring him back in the trash. So I'm just re-resting my board to simulate that they're frozen, and then this is the Scar play. Unfortunately, my line fine here is rested, but I do get to swing with impact for this one, and that's actually all I can do because I put the Ling Yao on the back line. Dang, that one mistake has pushed me back so far in this game. I would have had another 4K swing as well if I had played him to the front line. Oh, live and learn, live and learn, live and learn. Yep, that's just for turn, so I remove my modifiers. am I realizing my mistake? I think I'm hovering over that L word because I'm realizing my mistake. Mid play. This sidelines my scar. It's unfortunate. And this. Okay, it does nothing. He just goes to attacks. And then I use the Edward to block. Actually, do I lose this game? I might lose this game. Yeah, move that to the front line. And what do I do next? Unfortunately here, yeah, I just put myself in a really tough situation playing that all wrong, because now I don't have 7 energy, so I do get to rest the body, but I don't get the plus 1k in impact. So if he wants to block it, he'll still have to lose a body, but I will not get impact. Oh, I also make another mistake here. This is important. So I attack, and I choose to let him, but my opponent reminds me that he is not a Xing card. The scar, this Ling Yao when attacking can only affect Xing cards. So that would be this Fu or this Mei Chang. The Scar and the Edward are not Xing cards, so I cannot select him for, he can't be blocked by 4k or higher. So this goes, oops, sorry. I believe this goes through. Yeah, this goes through and he takes it. I believe he raids it. Yeah, he raids it to his front line. And when played, oh, he gets double attack. So I keep swinging. He gets plus 100 BP, so he gets a free block. And I believe this is the unfortunate end for me. Only 3 cards in the front. There's so many ways to remove or rest with this deck. He also has been doing that a lot, so it's just very unfortunate. You see, I'm already putting the GGs in the chat. That also, I did not read that card. I should have read it on the energy line because it had a lot of text, but essentially you trash it and you can give a Kenpachi impact. And then there he goes, removing another one of my bodies. And they all have impact. So I just have to take everything. Take this, add that to hand. Take this, it's active trigger, so I get 1 block off. And then impact, so I can't block it anyways, and I lose. Yeah, I lose that game. Oh, I continue to play another one. Oh, okay. Well, we got a bonus game, ladies and gentlemen. I did not know that. Okay. I guess we'll keep reacting. But actually, let me go back. Let me break down it a little bit more. Yeah, that one play. I don't want to say that one play like I would have won outside of it, but I would have been in a better position for sure if I had played the Ling or the Edward to the energy line, looked at top 2 first, and then drew with the Ling. But unfortunately, I didn't. It's just still learning the deck, and then I also forgot that I can't attach to this scar. If I did, it would have been, well, yeah, if I did, I would have swung in. Yeah, no, yeah, so this Edward would have been on the line and I would have had 7 energy. So I would have rested, gained the impact. She can't be blocked, so that would have been 1 life. So I probably would have swung with him first, just to see if they want to give me a body. They really have to give me a body here. And then swing. Yeah, that messed up the whole play because he would have been at 5k. So if I swung with him, it would have forced them to, actually no, it just forces them to block. And then I swing with Lanfan, they cannot block, and then one of these will go up because they'll rate it, and it'll go up to 5k, and then I'll swing with Scar, and then they'll go down to 1 life, essentially. Well, so it would have been the same either way. Yeah, it probably would have been the same either way. Unfortunate, but it's probably a bunch of other misplays that I'm missing out. But I guess I find another game pretty fast, so I just left it all in one recording. So we got 4 games today. Let's look at the starting hand here. This might just be a bad mulligan on me. The opponent chooses turn order. I keep this hand. Oh, I'm a madman. I'm a madman. Oh, what's wrong with me? Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. I have one. Okay, I get saved by the top deck here. I get saved by the top deck 0 cost Edward. I get both my energy generators out, and then I'm back on curve to play out the lawn fawn into the foo. But Jesus, what is wrong with me? Okay, we're going up against the blue JJK deck. I believe this is Nanami and Sukuna as their main raid targets. Yeah, so just some sim mistakes here. He meant to move that in the movement phase, but it's all fine. Just be cool. Nothing's ever too serious. Nobody's playing for money. Unfortunate, the Scar had to go straight to the trash. Active trigger with nothing. I get all my lawn fawns here, I guess. I decide to play out the restand to raid here. Get a free search. So I normally sideline my base card first before I do the search, just so I don't forget. And then I grab the greed. Maybe the greed wasn't the play. That's unfortunate. I just gave him Sukuna to hand, but maybe the greed wasn't the play. Maybe I should have grabbed the Ling here and hope that I got a greed off a life trigger, or waited to find a greed in another play. I think my idea behind it was there's only 4 greeds in my deck and there's 8 Ling, so the odds of me finding another Ling before I find another greed is higher. But maybe that was a greedy play, no pun intended. But this turn, our opponent is just setting up their energy. Got this 2 energy generator, and they sideline my Edward, which is also a good thing about this Edward. He's a 4K body. He's not anything to be ignored, but I don't mind when people use special triggers or special events for the Edward, because I want to keep on my field these lawn fawns, the greed most of the time, and I get a special trigger right back, so I sideline this card, and I also draw one. So I put the lawn fawn to the front line, and then play the foo and another lawn fawn to the energy line, and I'll play one to the front line. So let me fix my BP because I have enough energy. And then our opponent's throwing in the I'm in danger jokes. It's all good. It's all good. It's a long game, man. And it really is. I don't know when this set ends, but it'll be a minute. So now this is the perfect place for me to be. I have 2 bodies on the front. I have a greed and the removal event in hand, so I can keep the front line aggression. If they want to use another divergent fist for a lawn fawn, that'll cost an energy point or action point, I mean. So I'm sitting pretty, and if they do, I also have a lawn fawn on bench, which I can just move up. Now they play out the Malevolent Shrine, which is a danger card, I tell you. Depending on how many, I remember this card, I don't even have to read it. Depending on how many fingers, you see me checking his trash. Depending on how many of Sukuna's fingers are in the trash, I AP draw here. I think I'm looking for the Lings because I want to start removing, but I can't. So I believe I just go. Okay, I play out the Edward raw here. I don't remember doing that. I don't know if that's correct. Maybe the idea is I don't plan on playing Edward out anymore. My next target is the raid Mei Chang to go over my 0 cost, and my 2 cost is generating 2. So I'm currently at 2, 4, 6, 7 energy. And so maybe the idea is, if I do get an Edward, I'm probably not going to be playing him to the energy line anytime soon. And I will rather have a 4K on the field as a blocker. Also want to use all my action points, which is something that comes up later. I miss something badly, but spoilers. That's spoilers. So yeah, they're continuing to fix their energy. They're up to 7 energy now too. So that means they can raid their Sukuna, which I believe is what they do. Yep, they raid Sukuna. They sideline a 3500, I believe. Yeah, 3500, and sideline it because they have something in the trash. And I'm just checking here. I don't think he should have the +1 impact, but it doesn't matter here because he does have regular impact. And there's the raid Mei Chang, which is huge for me, and there's the Ling, which is also huge for me. So yeah, the Sukuna is not staying around. Raid over the Mei Chang, draw a card, and Ling Yao, draw a card, and greed raid. Now, I think during this turn, I was thinking whether or not, I'm just reminding him the force block here. I was oh yeah. So I accidentally click next phase here instead of my targets to attack. Yeah, so good. My opponent's a good sport about it. He knows that it's a mistake, so he just lets me simulate it. So yeah, he lets me just highlight. Yeah, and it's not letting me highlight here. I think he has to move to his main phase. So I'm just highlighting the cards that I'm swinging with. The greed would be rested at this point. So he gets this trigger, it goes to his hand. Let's take this one also. I think he raised this one out, which saves him from the Elric swing. Yeah, so he raised this one out, and fixes everything. So yeah, I pass the turn and say, I apologize for it, but good thing he's cool about it. And he does get a raid to sideline something, so yep, he sidelines my Mei, and then we move on from there. So yeah, a little unfortunate, got a little click happy, but good thing my opponent didn't mind. And that's the good thing about the manualness of this sim, that we get to do things like that. If it was the One Piece sim, it just would have gave him the turn and I couldn't do much about it. He would have drew and all that. So yep, he gets to rest and freeze a card on my front line. So yeah, he's forcing me to lose one of my bigger swings, which, like I said, well, he has impact, so I'm not blocking the first one. But like I said, this Edward is mostly here as a blocker. Okay, yep. So he's rereading the field and says you will rather freeze the greed, which is good because I would have just free blocked the 4K. But now I'm forced to take one and then block one. Or I can just take them both and go for game next turn because I do have the Traveler from Xing. But I think with the second, I think that's the second finger in hand or in trash. I'm checking here because he either has to rest. Oh, I remember this. I remember this now. I remember I got so scared here. So he either has to rest a Yuji or put a life into their sideline. There's no Yuji on the field, so he puts a life into the sideline, draws a card, restands an action point. And and now he has 3 fingers in trash, which activates his his shrine, which gives him snipe now. So he gets 2 damage and snipe. Now I think he unfortunately forgets to use this though, because what he should do here is activate this. Yeah, so he forgets to use it. Unfortunately. So let me go back and replay it in my head. If he activates the Malevolent Shrine, gives this get this Sukuna with impact 2 damage and snipe, he can snipe out the or either one of these. Probably the Lanfan is more important. It'll KO the Lanfan and the impact will go through, so I will lose. Wait. Okay, no. Well, so he wouldn't get the double damage because the double damage will be technically the double damage will be blocked. But he forces the Lanfan out and forces me to take a life, and then he can attack with this and forces me to block again. So without that, I just block regularly. He dies, and then the impact comes through. I was taking this life no matter what. It's a final trigger, which sucks. That was in my life, but yeah, I'm double checking that, and then it's time to go for game. Just move these to the front line. I could play that to the energy line, and yeah, he's hoping for the final trigger here, and then I get to sideline his Sukuna. I wasn't gonna do this Edward trigger at first. I was just gonna ignore it because it was gonna be game. But he did remind me with finals. I didn't see him play any finals or trigger any finals out, so it very well could be a final there. And that would save him because he can just block out the foos. So then I go back and do the Edward trigger just in case the game actually does continue. Actually, no, because I am sidelining the Sukuna, so it does not save him unless he got 2 finals in a row. So yeah, I'm just reminding him to sideline him, and then I mean, here I might as well play out the don't know about that one, boss, but I guess I'm expecting a and then she can't be blocked. Yeah, so there's no final, and I take that one. So yeah, those are the first 2 games. Not too bad, not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Let's see if I can pull up the second one. Oh, those are supposed to be the last games. I was just doing it out of order. That's why it didn't look familiar. So let's look at the first game. Okay, here I forgot. I forgot that my camera was on as I was recording it, so we're just gonna leave it on. Y'all get to see me. I think I'm listening to Isaiah Rashad or something. Oops, I did not mean to put that on. So if y'all see me moving, head bobbing, it's that Happy Birthday to You by Isaiah Rashad. Going up against a Demon Slayer deck, red Demon Slayer deck. So this deck is explosive, by the way. And then they're we're fist bumping in the chat. Good luck, have fun, and let's do it. But this deck is extremely explosive. I did not. This was my first time playing against it. I think I played against it again in my testing. But here I'm sort of bricked, but saved by the top deck. You can see me popping off because I'm saved by the top deck. Now I get to raid the Mei Chang, and now energy is no longer a problem. I just get to raid out my Edwards and do all the searching I should need to find everything I need. A 12 card search is ridiculous. It's 2 6s and 12 card search. It's absolutely ridiculous. You really do just find everything you need, because if it's not the raid target, then the raid target is probably in your life. You just grab the base, and then if you're not grabbing either of those, you just grab the Lanfan, and Lanfan is always good. But let's see what's going on here. I'm asking this, or I'm looking at the chat. Okay, yeah. It's taking a minute, so I didn't know. This sim does have a problem with bugs and stuff. Oh right, I'm checking to make sure that he sidelined a card, but he needs to pick up a card to sideline a card. He whiffed on the search. So here I actually, once again, just out of order, and I'm realizing that now. Send it back to the top, but I should have raided first, did the search, search top 6, because now that may change right back where I left it. But I really need to grab this Scar here because I only have 2 in the deck. I would like to have 1 in hand. So I bottom deck the rest, reveal the card, and then I am explaining the raid system here, which I have to do a couple times because it is a fairly new mechanic to the game to unraid a card. So yeah, I think we go back and forth a little bit here, trying to just making sure that the game is played properly. Yeah, so I'm just explaining it to him. I lose the impact, but I get the search. And then I'm explaining that I rated at the beginning of turn. Yeah, just explaining everything. And I think I'm waiting for him to confirm before moving on. I don't want nobody thinking that I'm cheating them out of a game. I placed the energy line, which yeah, so he sees it in the trash now. Yeah, so just a little back and forth. So he gets hit with no trigger, so that's good for me. No sideline triggers is perfect. I keep a 4K blocker on the front line. I got a line phone on the back line. Now, it's debatable here to use equivalent exchange and then raid the Elric again and then play Lanfon, or play Lanfon then raid the Elric again. I get another search in. Maybe that was better if I had played this other raid Elric in my hand over my 0 cost here. That would have been, yeah, that would have been good. And then I could have searched for a second Mei Chang, and then I could have played this second raid Mei Chang over in the next turn, essentially getting a free draw or an AP draw while developing a body. So I forget what that card was. And I think I'm waiting for him to proc something to let me know something. I believe that gives him that gave him plus 2 BP and damage 2 if I'm not mistaken. But I think he did it too early because my Elric is a 4K. Just sort of waiting on his effect. Typing cools in the chat. I gotta use the emoji, the thumbs up emoji. Oh right. So I remember this. So he's giving it plus 2, then plus 3, so he's plus 5 currently. So he's a 6,500 with double damage. I am just gonna block it and just take the 1 hit. Huge. I'll take that. I just need to find a Ling, and I typed the Ling, and there I go popping off again because the top decks continue to save me. You gotta love a top deck, man. So push the Lanfan to the front, and I should be raiding the Ling here. Okay, I raid the Elric here to search top 6 again. Almost searched 9. Okay, I grabbed the Fu for the double energy. I can still raid the Ling here. Okay, looks like I'm just gonna set up my energy first. Yeah, I'm just gonna set up my energy. Probably play the Ling here to draw at least. Yep, this nice. Well, this time I don't think it's bad to play the energy line. This protects him from sideline triggers. And it's not like I'm playing a 3K in the back line for no reason whatsoever. So he gets an active trigger, which means that one of his characters gets plus 3 BP. So my Elric isn't strong enough to swing through. I am still holding on to this removal effect, waiting to see a raid of some sort, and I am glad I do, because I think this might be the turn where he explodes. Yeah. Plays out the Zenitsu, and this is actually a pretty cool deck. I'm not even a Demon Slayer fan, but it's pretty cool the way they designed it. It's Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, and depending if you have one of the other of that trio on board, the other one will get a special effect. So I think this Zenitsu is, if Inosuke is on your field, you get plus 2 damage. So this is one of his sidelines. Waiting on to see what he choose. That's the right target. Unfortunately, sometimes I just hope and pray they're like, oh, she's only a 3,500. She doesn't need to be sidelined. Let's sideline the stronger character. But it never happens because they read the card, and it's such a good card. But they buffed their Inosuke again. Okay, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. So if Tanjiro is on the field, he gets double damage, the Zenitsu. But for right now, it is only a single damage. So I'm just going to take the 2 and then free block. And I get a raid Elric, which is huge. I just get to raid over this. Do I search here? I think I leave the impact for him. Yeah. Now I free block. And I'm not going to use the second part of Elric's effect, just to leave the impact, forcing them to take a life. And now I get to play this energy line, raid over it, and probably AP restand, and then raid a greed in. I have 3 greeds in hand right now. Very greedy hand, no pun intended. But I raid the greed, move to front line. I really should be AP restanding here, and then and then sidelining something, and then raiding the Mei Chang. Raid, let's draw first, just to see if I want to do anything else. No, let's just sideline the Zenitsu. Maybe this isn't the first time I played this deck. No, this is my first time playing. Yeah, this is my first time playing because I have my camera on. I remember to turn it off in the next recordings. But this is a force block, so I just reminding him. And then impact. So he takes this and sideline trigger. Now, let's see what he does. Okay, he removes the Edward with impact, which I think is smart, especially if you don't have any nullify impact, which I don't think this deck is running. And it's especially smart because he doesn't know this, but in my hand I have my Scar and I have unlimited energy at this point. So I'll just get to rest one of his bodies, get another impact 5k on board. That'll force him to take another life in the next turn, and one of his blockers will be rested, and then I'll have at least another Edward and Greed. maybe the play would be move the old man Fu up, play the Scar out, play Edward to the energy line, or move the Fu up, play Edward to the energy line, then play the Scar out. He'll be at 7 energy, and we'll have a 5k, a 5k, and 2 4ks, and they'll have to block out because they only have 3 lives. So they play another Raid Zenitsu. Scary things, especially if they have a Tanjiro. But is this the one that they do? They do not. So here I just free block. I can just free block them both because he stays a he stays a 5k, which people forget, but yeah, as long as he's rated, he stays a 5k. So what do I do here? So yeah, I missed the play. I think I'm forcing him to lose another body, or to lose this Zenitsu. I normally don't like typing in chat because I don't want to feel like I'm rushing people, but at some point I have to. So I'm just waiting on yeah. So he rested them, so I didn't even need to. The energy line. I think I'm leaving the Lanfan in hand. I don't need the Mei or the Elric anymore. I'm leaving the Lanfan in hand in case they will definitely survive this turn because I cannot get all 3 attacks through. But Lanfan next turn, she can come out, and at 7 energy, I can pay another action point, and she stands herself up, active for the turn. So unfortunately, they get an active trigger, reactivate a blocker, but this still forces them to lose a character swinging 5k like this. Now, do they make the right play here? I'm actually remembering. I think they block with the Zenitsu here. Or they block with the Inosuke here. They need to block with the Zenitsu here. Because if they block with they block with the Inosuke, which they lose it because he's a 4-5 and not a 5k. And now they either have to block with the Zenitsu and lose it, or lose a life. If they blocked with the Zenitsu with the 5, they could have blocked out this Elric for free with the Inosuke. But then again, they would only have a 1500 on the front line, so they made their decision. I'm not going to say that's a play mistake. Probably just hoping for something off the top deck here. Maybe even an AP draw. Yep, the AP draw. To try to close out this game. If they have another Zenitsu in hand and a Tanjiro, or another Raid Zenitsu and a Tanjiro. Okay, they had it. Okay, yeah, I remember. Actually, wait, what happened here? I believe they wanted to raid it. Oh. Okay, so they did have another Raid Zenitsu here, and if they have a Tanjiro here, it gets sticky. But I'm pretty sure I'm still fine because these are all 4Ks on the board, and that's why we saved the Lanfan for the end game, so we can block out with our whole board if we need to, and play out the Lanfan and swing under these 4K blockers. Now, unfortunately, this Tanjiro on the field is a blocker, so I use one of my free blocks and then I take this damage because I realize that I need the oh I forgot. So this trigger just won me the game. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. No, this trigger won me the game because even if I play out the Lanfan here, she'll get blocked, and then she'll get blocked by him. He'll get blocked by him. He'll get blocked by him. He'll get blocked by him. and then I don't have the close. He'll lose his board and maybe I still win on the turn after. But with that trigger, it ensures that I win this game because now this Tanjiro cannot stand up to block. So now I just play out the lawn fawn, like I said, stand her up. None of these guys can block her. She'll swing for the last card. And then even if it's a final, we keep going and they'll lose their board. And essentially the same thing happens. But the odds of it being a final and the last are impossible, I say, before somebody final triggers me. But yeah, play this to the front line, set her active, set this rested, and gained the BP, and then I just swing with her. Unblockable swing. I think they try to, and then I have to remind them. I'm already have my mouse over the cursor because people forget that that's her effect. But she takes it, and then I win that one. So that's the that was the first game I played. All right, the last and final game 4. Good lord, this is gonna be a long video. It's against let's see here. I forgot who I'm against. Oh right, a blue bleach deck. Oh no, never mind. I think this is the game that bugs out. No. Okay. I remember this one. There was a game that I recorded that bugged out, and I couldn't do anything about it. Okay, but this time I got a pretty strong hand. Eden and May. Next turn I can May and Ling, and we'll be straight. I can do my search on the turn after, so my curve is pretty good here. And I get another search, so I might even just play out the Ling or the May and another Ed. Okay, I'm getting greedy here. Okay, I'm getting greedy here. Play out the Ling to the energy line, and I guess I want to raid already. Okay, move the front line, sideline, and play the front. For a little bit of aggression, I'll grab the raid May, which is huge here. Now my energy should be straight for the rest of the game, and I get a free attack in, and they get no trigger. Alright, and fixing my energy generation for the sim, just so it doesn't bug out on me and ask for why things aren't working. So this is, I'm just now realizing this guy has nullify impact. It's important for this deck. I can always rest him with the scar, which is good if he only leaves one of them up front. But this guy comes out, I believe it is, he is set rested. No, it freeze. Okay, they're a middle life taker, color trigger, freeze that guy. And I get agreed. Do I get greedy though? Okay, I gotta admit that one was on purpose. Draw a card. Okay, I have 2 Xings and Travelers in my hand, so I think I Traveler the rested one. Okay. I'm just gonna force block. To be honest, I think I should have Travelered the rested one. I'm probably just setting up for my raids next turn. What's playing the Edward out? I can always Traveler next turn. Oh no, I couldn't Traveler because I only had 3 Xing type characters on the board, and they're both at 4Ks. So this was the only play. Good job, Pass Donovan. Good job. All right, let's see what the opponent does here. Got rid of a raid target, which is pretty good. that's another thing of something that I like about this deck, especially going against if you're keeping up with Union Arena and you know the monster that is for the Mustang here. I am building the deck. Let's not get it twisted. Okay, so he's just making sure that he gets unarrested, which is correct. But do you know that he just won the major, the most recent major? I think it was the regionals, and there was a lot of representation for him for good reason. It is a very strong removal deck. But that's something that I like about this deck is you play out the Edward first, put him on the front line, mostly as bait for them to play out the raid. What is it? The raid, Riza and Royal Mustang, so that they'll use all their abilities on the Mustang or on the Edward, and then you get to travel it from Xing into Greed, and they lose both their, hopefully, if they don't have anything else on the front line, they lose both the Mustang and the Riza. So this game I've lost control of this game fast. It is because I do not have enough Xing characters on board to do the effects that I want. So hopefully I make the change here. Play out this Fu, please. Play out the Fu, please. Okay, I don't play out the Fu. I get even more greedy and play out this Edward. I think I'm thinking here whether I want to keep the impact or not. I think I decide to keep the impact just so there are no free blocks. Okay, no, I don't. I go for the search, and the search top 6. I take the Ling, the 4-cost Ling. Maybe it was better to play this energy line, draw a card, and now I can still Traveler, but I think it was better to play out the Fu and Traveler twice. So I'm getting rid of their raid cards. Oh, that's why I didn't keep impact, because they have 2 nullify impacts. It makes no sense. But I do get a little bit more aggression, a little bit of board control. They're down to 0 cards in hand, which is good, and I get a final trigger on the early side. Then I go for the bottom because I'm feeling good, and there it is, another final trigger, which is huge. If you know anything about this game, final triggers are so good. They are your AP restanders in hand, and if it is your last life that is taken, you add another card to your life pool, and you don't lose the game. So that's really big to get into their trash now. So they go blue Ichigo here to sideline a card, I believe. Oh, return it to my hand. Okay. Actually, you know what? He could not do that. I'm just now reading this card. It's 4K or less, so it had to be the Edward. I should have read that closely. It's 4K or less, and he is a 5K. Consistently, he's 5K. He's a base 4K, but 5K consistently. So that's my own fault. But I also don't mind taking the greed back here because I want to block out again, and I think I have to block one of these hits and just lose the Elric. So maybe I go explosive here. No, I can't. If I played that fool last turn like I should have, I could have. All right, Donovan. All right, Donovan. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the play I should have done. So if I did the foo, let's go all the way back here. To my turn. If I didn't play the Ling here, if I did the foo with 1 energy, I had 2 of these in hand. Did the foo, 1 energy, did 1 Traveler from Xing, KO this, and then another KO this. I would have had, what's that? 4-7 on the board. And then when we get here, we get back to my turn. Where are we? We're here. Yeah, when we're back to my turn, then I would have 7 on the board. I can do, I don't have that Traveler anymore. Then I can Lawn Fawn, stand her up. Oh, I wouldn't be able to raid the greed, but Lawn Fawn, stand her up. I would probably then I would play the Ling to the energy line and draw a card, and that would be my turn. But the Lawn Fawn can't be blocked, and the Elric will either force them to take another life or lose their. It would have been one of these guys left, so it would have been just 2. It would have been losing one of the 2 on board, pushing them back more. So another play mistake, and once I get to talking about play mistakes, you should already know how the game ends, if I'm being honest. But let's watch it through. So now I'm sort of forced to raid again, getting my BP, and then I should. Okay, I misplay here. I play it to the energy line. Well, this isn't as bad. Play to the energy line to KO, and play my next Traveler to KO one of their blockers. And then this is force blocked, and then the Elric probably goes through. Wait, why did I not swing? Hello, Donovan? Donovan, are you awake? Are you awake? Where are we? I didn't swing. Why? I'm just not awake. I should have swung there. That forces him to take a life or lose a body. He is not a 5k body. I don't know why I just passed the turn there. Searching through their trash. I don't know what for. I think I'm searching for their special cards. But they don't even need it. They just move everything up to the front line and then attack out. And if I do this right, I should free block. And free block. And then take, and hopefully it's an active trigger. It is not, it's a raid trigger, and I don't have a Ling on board. And then another raid trigger. So, let me go back. So, if I wanted the energy on the back line, and with full knowledge of my deck, should have played the Ling to the energy line. If I played it to the energy line, that raid trigger, I get another blocker and we go again. And then I can essentially clear their board. Because nothing on my field is dead. I'll have a third Ling and I'll have the Lawn Fawn in hand. They all have 4 life. So the Lawn Fawn will attack under the 4k blocker. But everything else swings through. So 5, 5, 4, and then 1 that goes through. So if I swing Lawn Fawn first, it'll either take a life or they'll lose a body. And then I swing 5, 5, 4, and then they have to give me at least 2, and then they have nothing on the energy line, and then they cannot develop anything without developing their energy line first on their next turn. So it was completely possible for me to win this game if I had used the full knowledge of my deck to play out this Ling in hopes, because yes, the active trigger would have saved me. Yes, a final trigger would have saved me, but that raid trigger would have been a third option if I had played the Ling instead of the Lanfan. But like I said, live and learn, and move on, you know. But let's take a trip back to the deck list, the final part of this deck list, and go over the changes I want to make. So I think I will want to go up one of these Mays. I was bricking a lot. I mean a lot with this deck. It is important for me to get energy and also have lower cost characters to play. So this being at 2 costs and this being at 2 costs, I think will be good for me, because there's a lot of times where maybe I had 2 zeros but no way to play the 3 costs and no 2 costs in hand. So I think going up one of these Mays is good for me. I'm actually want to, in that case, I'm gonna go down one Old Man Fu, because essentially just replacing it, they're both 2 energy generators. This one is a bit more of an attacker, but I don't want to see this card as often as I did. And everything else seemed pretty good. Actually, maybe I would go down one of these Elrics to go up maybe this Mei Chang. Actually no, because I like it. I think I was just misplaying the Elric a lot. But yeah, you know, I still don't think it's, I still think Scar doesn't need to stay in the deck, but it's a good card. I personally like Scar as a character, but yeah, maybe he throws my games, but it's still a good card. It's still a very impactful card when, you know, when you're closing out that game and they're not expecting you to rest the body, get a 5k with impact all on the same turn. So maybe keeping this a bit more hidden, like definitely just keeping them in hand absolutely until the very, very, very last turn going for game. Prioritize playing out these Lanfans instead of playing out these Lanfans for 2 energy or for 2 AP instead of playing out the Scar, because the Scar is just a bit more explosive and kind of just what you need at the end. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for the deck list. If you're big on Union Arena, go ahead, subscribe. I think I'm gonna be doing this and some One Piece card game videos. They sort of go hand in hand. So yeah, this was the first deck, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye.